PettyNation247 live podcast. We have a very, very special guest. Scot Lukas, former host of TLC's What Not to Wear. He also had his own clothing line like on where was it again? H&L?
Home Shopping Network.
Home Shopping
H&M.
Network.
Yeah.
And it was Lukas
We sold
Style.
about 10 million things in 5 months. Amazing.
Woo!
Janet called in and she talked to me on the channel when I was selling one day. You should try to get a tape of that. It's really funny.
I actually seen that because she called
It's
you a
so
hot
good.
mess.
Yeah, she called me a hot mess on national television. Hello.
You got to love that about your friends.
She speaks the truth.
Scot Lukas, everybody. I'm just me. Someone to clap it up. Thank you, Wayne. We finally made it happen.
Good for you. I'm glad. I was just been traveling so much and so busy, and then, she had the birthday party and the opening in Vegas, so I've been out there, and then I came back for work. So I'm back in New Jersey at the Jersey Shore right now, and I'm ready to tell you anything you want to know.
Oh, do you see Snooki out there naked?
God, if I saw Snooki naked, I'd have to cover that snatch and run.
Well, I mean, I hope not, because she got like 30 million kids now, so I hope she's keeping it together.
Scary looking. The new Snooki looks good.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to dive in and start from the beginning for you. When did you know that you wanted to start wardrobe styling, or when did you get into clothing or styling?
Well, my whole life I was doing stuff with making puppets and crafts and, designing stuff, and I was going to summer art school, and I wanted to go to FIT to be a designer, and my parents, I said this in another interview, they didn't want me to be around gay people. Hello, guess what? Because we grew up born again Christians, very religious, They thought that they had to keep me away from gay people, and then I'd be straight my whole life, and I'd be the perfect, church boy. Well, I just went to school for graphic design at Pratt, and I got out of Pratt, and then I got a job doing some catalog work, some graphic work for catalogs.
Okay.
And the catalogs happened to be fashion catalogs. So it pulled me into the world of photographers and models and clothing. And I got dragged into it so fast. I was making $50 a day, sweeping the floors, serving food, trying to get myself connected. And within a couple of years, my salary had jumped, and I was like, maybe in 3 years, I was an on-demand assistant, and then about 5 years, I was an on-demand stylist. That was about, 50 years before. No, I'm 50 now, so maybe 39 years ago, 40 years ago. Yeah.
Well, so
something like that.
It happened to you just back to back.
Well, the thing is, like I always tell everybody, if you have a dream, you got to, focus on that dream and then go to work. I told the girls in the last interview, show up, shut up, and do good work.
Right.
It's like, keep your mouth shut, go to work, learn, and get listen, if you keep your mouth shut and don't act like you're fabulous, you're going to get a lot of information from very, very talented people. And then you take that information and go create your own career. But other than that, you come in with a big mouth trying to tell everybody what you know, and those are the people that never last. They never last. Like the stylist doing Celine right now. I forget his name. Is it Lawler Kirk? I don't know put downs, but the people that are overdressing these stars and making themselves as famous. Look at Rachel Zoe. She tried to make herself as famous as her clients. Yeah. I love being in the background.
Because didn't she have a show?
Me. Say what?
Didn't she have like a TV show or something like that?
Yeah, where is it? She had a clothing line. Where is it? What happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't try to be more famous than your clients. If you have a different career, you can try to, build your career, but it's not about trying to be more famous. When I'm with Janet, I get her dressed, I stand in the background. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter that I had a TV show, doesn't matter that I had a clothing line. I stand in the background because it's her time to shine. It's the best advice I can give anybody. Don't be desperate.
How about that?
Hello.
What was your first big break? Like your first big show? Like, okay.
I think my first big job was my first big celebrity job. Well, first, you know who I did?
Who?
Remember those girls that sang, "We like the cars that go boom," with Trina? Remember those girls, the cars that go boom?
The cars that go boom.
You got to look up that song. I forget their name. I think it was, they were Latrim, L'Trimm.
Latrim.
I dressed them for an album cover. This was a hit song right before rap really became big. And then I got a job as a stylist doing an unknown actress at the time, and her unknown name was, can you believe this, Melanie Griffith.
Are you
And
kidding
she
me?
was doing, yeah, and she was going to do an unknown movie called Working Girl, and nobody wanted to do the job, so I said I would do it, and I put her in. I didn't even know how to get designer clothes, so I pulled like Betsy Johnson back then, and
Okay.
I put her in like a Betsy Johnson plaid miniskirt, these big clunky '80s shoes, bad knee socks, and a bad T-shirt and suspenders. And for some reason, that bad outfit ended up being a full double-page spread centerfold in the magazine, and it turned her into a star. They thought that she purposely did this like Britney Spears schoolgirl look way
Okay.
before that look was popular. So that was my big first
That's
job, and then that just kind of started to spread from there.
that's crazy. Like so, like a
Yeah,
happy
right.
accident.
Happy accident. I didn't fail. I had beautiful clothes, but I just didn't quite know how to style. And when I did La Trim, those little girls, I didn't even know how to get shoes that fit them. I didn't even know how to do that, but I just, faked it till I made it. I just went out there and shopped, and I think I had a couple of credit cards when I was young, because back then you could get a credit card very easily. I ended up ruining my credit back then because I'd be buying clothes for photo shoots and not bringing it back, and then I couldn't pay for it. I mean, I had the same struggle. I didn't come from money. My
Right.
parents didn't have anything. I had to do it myself.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we have to do out here. When you like, I try to tell people, it's a little easier now doing stuff by yourself with social media and
It
stuff,
is. It
but
is.
it's not that easy because
Yeah, but
this.
back then we had nothing. We didn't even have cell phones. I mean, we were working on pages. If you could afford a pager, you would have a pager, and you'd have to run to a payphone on the street to call people back. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
come
remember
on,
that.
hello.
Well, I'm a child of the '90s, so I that's what I remember, like '90s stuff. So I remember
I'm a
there's
child of
pagers.
the I'm a child of the ghetto '60s. So guess what?
How about
Hello.
that?
Hmm.
Yo, that
I
is so
remember when
funny.
cell phones were as big as a Christian Louboutin shoe. Hello.
How about that?
Be holding that big brick up to the side of your head trying to call Miami Vice.
Oh my goodness!
Hmm.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, so that was the beginning of like the celebrity stuff, but I was still an assistant and I was styling on the side. And then I did a job for Levi's, and that was a small little job. And then I did a job for Jodie Foster, and then I did another job. And then I started getting popular with the clients I was doing. And then people started to see me and started to hire me. And that's kind of, I assisted. It's good that people know I assisted for a good 4 years. I
Hmm.
assisted low end stylist, and I assisted high end stylist. And you know what? I was screamed at. I was told off. They were shady to me.
Yep.
I'm writing my book right now, and it's amazing to look back at the
Oh wow.
memories about how bad I was treated, just to get into the business. And you have to be willing to eat some shit,
You.
as you're climbing up there. Nowadays, people are forced to treat you better because
Yeah.
even legally you can't call people names and things. But back then, it was open game.
You.
I was a kid from New Jersey who wanted to be a stylist, so I put up with anything I had to put up with to get into the business.
I feel like people also. I feel like the X in my generation, the millennials. I feel like we have a
Hmm.
little bit of uh not wanting to go through that process of like
It,
being
it,
handed
it's un,
stuff
it's
to us a little bit.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, just like handed like stuff to us a little bit because of social media. You see all these other people who have done it that way, but that doesn't mean you can't go through the process of like
You know what happens though?
what,
If you don't go through the process, there's going to come a time when the truth is going to hit,
right,
and you're going to have backup for what you speak about. Oh, I've got great style. Okay, great. Here's a lady who's a size 19, who's a size 18. She wears a 3X. Go make her look pretty. She's an opera singer. You're going to be like, shit.
right,
I can make a skinny girl look pretty, but where am I going to get clothes for a size 3X? How am I going to respect this lady's body and show her how to make it look great? The only way you can really make this all happen, the only way is experience.
right,
And it and all the stuff you see on social media, let's be honest. I run about 7 social media sites.
yes,
These kids don't have jobs. I watch what's going on. Listen, I've hired about 190 assistants in my career. I work with millennials now. I worked with the baby boomers back when I was doing my other job.
hmm,
The ones that stay are the ones that, keep their nose to the grindstone and do good work. Those are the kids you want around you. I can hire a million kids that tell you they have great style. And then I say, okay, that's great. We're on a shoot now. you have great style. That's great. Can you hem this pair of pants? Because she has to make the pants an inch shorter, and they just stare at you. Or I say, could you iron this? And they look at me like, what? Give me a steamer. I can steam it. I don't know how to iron. And it's
Oh
like
my God.
you in every business, you have to learn the basics of the business in order to shine. I'm telling you, a foundation is going to change your life. Don't build your foundation on sand. Build it on concrete so you can stand behind your words. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because people don't understand getting to that's just with anything. There's called a chain of command, and the
Yeah.
process in the chain of command, and you need to know where you fall at, and you need to just
Yeah.
suck it up and just go with what somebody's trying to tell you. And if you don't know, ask questions.
I mean, you absolutely. Look, I'm 54. Janet's current. What is Rob Bay, her stylist now? Is he 62 or
Y-
64, Rob?
Yes,
Janet is not hiring 18-year-old kids to style her. Trust me.
right.
You know, this is the high end. This is not a game. You cannot fail. You need to know your craft. You need to know how to bill. You need to know how to do billing. You need to know how to ship things across the country. You need to know how to travel 57 trunks around the world. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
your job, like you said, know your craft, know what you're doing, and then you can carry anybody. And then people will hire you. And then once a photographer or a director likes you, which happened for me, they fall in love with you and they book you for every single job, and then you're in.
So how did you get into like because Janet. First of all, we're gonna get into Janet because obviously everybody knows I love Janet. This is why my page is called PettyNation247 because people call me Petty, so I was like, you know what, Petty Nation, kind of
Yeah,
like a little
you would
joke
love
off
that.
of it. And then I don't know if you've seen the picture, so it was like her first the Petty Nation, the Rhythm Nation album cover is like kind of like my
Hmm.
picture, so kind of make a
Well,
joke
I
off.
love it. I mean, you would love her. You guys,
Yes.
the fans think they would love her. Oh no, you have no idea until you're alone with her at her place in Malibu, or you're at her apartment, or you're in New York with her and her baby. She is everything you could imagine and more.
I
She
mean,
really is.
you know how I know that? I know that
Tell me.
because like I told you before we got on, Tony Martinez, a former trainer. Um,
Yeah.
I had a show called it was a charity show, actually a fashion charity show called Modeling for a Cause. One of my
Uh-huh.
friends who was a fashion major, she did it as like her last project, and it ended up
Huh?
being 5 years later after we from college we kept it going. So we gave to
Great.
charities. One of them, Earn About Junior Music, drives us to keep music in schools. In the year that Tony came on, it was Horizon for Homeless Children.
I
So
love it.
yeah, so like we just kept it going after that's essentially how I got here and doing all this stuff. But anyway, um, so people was telling me like, oh, like I told, oh, that's Janet's what do you call it, trainer. They're like, how do you
Trainer.
know her? How do you know him? I was like, trust me. I was like, we're gonna figure out something. So everybody was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You will never get blah blah blah. I'm just like, the people that you think sometimes who they are, you're like, I think this will happen because he knows because
Hmm.
we had just like you and I, he gave me his number or whatever, and we started
Yep.
talking, texting, and then we got information. He saw the charity. He saw like obviously I gave him like show him the past shows and the past. He was like, oh, this is really got me involved somehow. He was like, you know what? Because he was in L.A. obviously, and I'm in Boston, so he was like, you know what? That was around the time where she just did the what's the her book True You,
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Uh-huh.
and she signed it. He said, "I'm gonna get her to sign it, and I'm gonna sign it, and we're gonna send out to donate it to
Great.
and give it away for charity." So I was, and
You're
everybody was like,
excellent.
"How did you get Jen?" I was like, "Cause y'all is like, not to say I know Janet, cause I don't, but like certain, like she said in her albums, that's her diary. So like when you
Yep.
get to hear somebody and they're telling you who they are, like in different ways, she can be nice. Sometimes she can be a bitch. Sometimes she can be ghetto. Sometimes she needs to be fancy. You know what I mean? Like just like
Hmm.
every other
Hmm.
person in the world, like treat them like a regular person. She is that. So I said if he said he's gonna bring it, then that's what's gonna happen. And then they were shocked that I made it happen.
Well, and the thing is, we don't screw around. Like, if I ask Janet for something, I better have made sure that I checked out the background of what
Right.
the charity is. I better make sure that I show up because she doesn't want us to hurt you guys,
Right.
and her fans are important to her. And Janet is a professional, so we can't just make decisions based on. Even if talking to you, if you wanted to ask questions that were deeper than I wanted to answer, I
Yeah.
would have to get approvals because
Right.
it really is. We're extensions of Janet, and our job I'm not working with her now, but we're still friendly. So my job is to keep letting the world know how wonderful she is and how much she accomplishes and how much she cares about all of you guys.
Yeah.
And she does. And she's a great mom and she's a great friend and she's a great human. And it's like you can't even imagine what it's like to be around her because you feel like you're around an angel. I'm
Right.
not kidding.
That's crazy. I only got
Even on the quiet days, just sitting around, there's a light that she has that shines from her.
that's that's what
Yeah.
I feel. Like I met her once, only like through like standing outside and waiting in line
Mhm.
and stuff.
Mhm.
But just like I said, I almost crashed on the bus. She was like, "Oh, gotta be careful," and then
Yeah. Yeah.
just like it was just she was just like you. First of all, I go by energy.
Mhm.
Period. Like I work in the radio. I work at a top 10 station right now, as far as like my job goes. And I met a lot of
Mhm.
people, and their energy is everything. You already know what you got to get. For me, I already know
Yep.
what I'm gonna get before I even with you. Like I knew like okay, I see how you talk, I see how you are, and I was like okay, this is he says what he means, but like you could tell you're a good person at the same time.
Mhm.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So you can I can tell
Thank
that.
you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was just
But we
like
just have to keep it real. Everything keep
keep
it
it
real
funky,
because I'm not going to get anything by telling you guys anything that's not true.
right?
And the best part about this is I've learned I don't have to be fabulous. I had a fun career.
Right.
I've had a fun life, and I've made a lot of money, and I've won a lot of money. I've
Right.
lost a lot of money, and I'm still here.
How about
So,
that?
what good do you get if I show up and I be dishonest or false? It's about just supporting you guys at the next level. And I always agree that it's about passing the torch. If there
Exactly.
was a good kid that was calling in today and said, Wayne, I'm dying to style Janet. I put in the work, I put in the time. I would happily pass their phone number on to Janet. It's like pass the torch,
Right.
you know. And it's a good business and it's a tough business, but she's a good boss. I did a lot of years with her, and we've experienced a lot of things together. And I would never not be supportive of somebody wanting to get into this, but it's a very difficult career also.
It's very difficult
A
on
lot of competition.
any part of the entertainment, even radio, and it's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
difficult. Like
yeah.
because people there's money on the line, and then there's your talent on the line, and
Absolutely.
if you can bring it,
And you all are special enough. Everybody listening is special enough to try to get into it because it takes that one chance and you're in. And then you've got to consistently show up because if you get in and someone gives you a chance and you
right?
fail, it can be over just as fast. Sometimes you don't get more than one chance,
It's true. Just like when I
you know?
started, like that's when I started. That same year it happened. I started my first professional MC. Just like I was just out of school, so like, but like you said, like I was starting my just like my like you have like your little baby goals in your mind. I hit
Yep.
them all. I was like, I can't believe I got Janet design the show. Then I started my first Salt and Pepper, I guess, MC like show. That was like my first like professional, and I actually met Austin Brown, her nephew, there the same year. I
Hmm.
was like, my sister was like, "You're a stalker." I was just like, "Listen, I couldn't make that up. That just happened.
That's
That was just
great.
aligned because like you know what I mean. Like how would I know? You know what I mean? Because he's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like super known at the time. So it was just like okay, God, what is this? 'Cause it's a little
Yeah.
scary, but you just got to keep and you got to go with your intuition and be like, okay, you got to show up and show out.
Yep. Yep. And the reason why you guys like Gil and you like Tim Buchanan, the makeup artist, and you like the people are because Janet surrounds herself with good people.
Mm,
Gil is a wonderful human. Gil has matured more than I could ever believe. As I just saw him at Janet's birthday, and I'm
yeah.
like, I would love to spend a lot of time with this guy. I love who he's become. Tim Buchanan, her makeup artist
Oh
for
yeah,
the
Tim.
Super Bowl, for tours. They're wonderful people. He just got accepted to the Academy Award.
Yeah, I just saw that he
Academy
posted that.
Award. Yeah, come on. I mean, she surrounded herself with great people who went on to do great things.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
I have to say the one thing about Janet is like I was explaining this to somebody yesterday actually at the radio station. She keeps people everybody's have their own personality, whatever, but they have
Yep.
something that is just like they will talk to you, they will listen to you, they will. I mean,
Yeah.
Gil's a little different. Gil will let you
Absolutely.
know he's like a little, like don't try it, but like
No, but
he's still nice,
if you really, because he's very close to her and he's got to
right?
protect her. But
He
if you
has to
get to
protect
know
her,
him, if you get to know him, he will sit down with you and take care of your family and take care of your dog and ask
right?
how your mom is. That's who he really is.
Right.
You
I
know what I
seen
mean?
that.
he's the keeper of the key to the door right now. So
Right.
you got to give
He
him a
keep it
break with
tight.
that stuff.
No, I don't
Yeah,
see me personally. I
yeah.
don't know. Like, I don't know if you know. Like, my family is in the business as well. Like, my grandfather has been an actor on Broadway, off Broadway TV movies for like 35 years,
Uh
and,
huh.
and my cousin does Aaron McGruder does the Boondocks, the TV show The
Hmm.
Boondocks. So like,
Great.
I know what it
Yeah,
is. I'm not offended. I'm not mad. I'm not any of that because I understand if you're that person for that person for her right now, you got to make sure. Who are you? State your
and you
name.
know what? I can write to her in a text right now,
Hmm.
but if I go through Gil, even with me, he's the keeper of the gate.
Right.
So I respect that because
Right.
when I'm with Janet and I'm her stylist and someone tries to get to her through me, I'm the keeper of the gate. I pass it off to Terry, her assistant. I pass it off to her business manager, you know, and seeing what Gil has created for her and watching, everybody has judgment, but this boy has worked his ass off and has been a loyal
Right.
friend. He's a loyal friend to that woman, and I got to tell you guys,
You got to give it to him.
he's he's a loyal friend and he cares,
Yes.
and Janet needs those friends. She's busy and she's traveling and she needs people she can trust, and she can trust him, and so can I. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, he's been with Gil's been with Janet since he was 17 years old. So that's
Yeah,
a long time. Like, he just turned
yeah,
40. So that's a long time. So
yeah,
that's like somebody knows the ins and out everything. That's two
absolutely.
marriages and a kid. Okay?
Yep.
That's a long
And
time.
I was there through, Renee, and I was there through this one, and you love your friend. I mean, each one of us goes through our journey, and the true friends are the ones that stay and love you through it.
Right.
No matter where you turn, no matter how it changes, the true friends show up. When they need you, you're there, and when they don't need you, you just lay low. You know.
Yes. I mean, I
And I'm not working with her anymore, and I still stay in contact and love her. I mean, I really, she, called me out at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and thanked me, and I just was floored. I could have cried. I couldn't believe it.
yeah, I saw that. For
Out of all the stylists she's had in her career, she called me out. I mean, how kind was that, But maybe I did make a difference. Maybe I really was the friend that she needed,
at the
and I
time.
love that.
Because you work with her mainly like in the 90s. You work with Kevin Aquan with her, correct? Right?
Yeah, I worked with Janet like 90. When did Design of a Decade come out? 93 or
96.
95?
That was like 95, 96.
Yeah, I did Design of a Decade. We shot it, a year before it came out. So I did the Design of a Decade Europe cover where she's in the dress, and then from there I did every single job until God. I mean, Super Bowl was what 2004,
Yes.
5, 6, 7. I think we stayed together until 2007. I think.
That's a
And
long
then she
time.
went on a tour, and then I did the Hawaii show, and my dad passed away,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
then we kind of separated because I was doing a line of clothing, and she wanted people to go on tour, and I couldn't go on tour,
Hmm.
and I think she started when she started with Rob, but I love Rob too. He's a wonderful guy. So I just stand back and watch everybody around her, make sure that they say the right things when they talk to me, and
Right.
I just am lucky. I've had a lucky life with her and with Kevin, and then with Tina Turner, and it's been a really lucky life. And if it wasn't for Kevin, who I met with Janet, Kevin was the one that got me to get a job with Tina Turner. If it wasn't for Kevin, I never would have gotten Tina Turner.
So let's get into Kevin just a
So,
little bit so people know who he is. Kevin Aquan, correct? If I say his last name
hmm
correct, he
Yep,
was
yep,
a celebrity makeup artist at the time, like the biggest. Like everybody
yeah.
wanted to work with him. He was like the
No one's
top
no one's
notch.
ever touched no one's ever touched his talent or touched the level of work. He got to the point where he was 10,000 a day, and people were still paying those rates, which is a lot of money for a
Ten
makeup artist.
ten thousand
Makeup artists
dollars a
now
day.
10,000 a day. Makeup art, and I'm
Sheesh.
telling you, remember when someone is 10,000 a day and you work on a 10-day video, it's 100 something dollars. You know how much money
Yeah.
that is?
Yes. Yes. That's crazy.
$100,000. When you make 10,000 a day and you work for 8 days, you got to pay someone $80,000 to put you behind bars and smack that face into shape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Kevin got to the point that he was very expensive, but he was still working, and they were still loving him, and he was still making the money. So it was magic, to be
Wow.
with him back then, and it was magic to be with that level of talent, and then to be able to be dressing Janet and have Kevin do the makeup. I mean, I was the luckiest boy in the world.
So it was like
Say
you
the
was like
truth.
with your friends, just doing whatever.
Oh yeah, and
That's
the thing
crazy.
is with Janet, you see it in the movies. Like, you guys should all watch the two Kevin Kline movies are out, Beauty and the Beast and Me, and Larger Than Life, both the Kevin Coyne movies, those little snippets of Janet is exactly Janet. She's funny,
Oh yeah, she was
no
like
matter how
nodded off.
yeah,
She like
no
snorted.
matter how serious the video is, we have to have time when we laugh. I mean, there's the MTV making the video of me and Janet for Doesn't Really Matter, and we're
Hmm.
just laughing every day.
So I want to get into those really quick. So I want
Yeah,
to people to let people know you also one of the videos that you worked on was Scream. How and that was a correct?
I didn't do Scream.
Oh, you didn't do Scream because he was doing
I didn't
makeup for
do
Scream
Scream.
though. Kevin was.
Kevin was on Scream. Kevin and Janet Tatoon for Hair.
Okay. So
Yeah,
so it doesn't really matter. I know that you did that. Demetri, can you pull that up? Doesn't really the video.
I did every single thing. Um, I think right after Scream, I did like every single video except for like maybe two. Doesn't really matter. 24 play. Um, Wait a little while. The one that only showed in Europe. God, I did a lot with her.
Yeah, I'm having.
Every award show I did, every red carpet, all those years.
What was the
Super Bowl.
inspiration for Doesn't Really Matter? Because I have it up right now.
Doesn't really matter. We wanted to do the Harajuku girls from Tokyo, those girls that walk around that are overstyled with all that crazy white lipstick and crazy makeup, and that's how come the girls are all dressed like they're in a high anime Japanese movie where you've got Kelly in the wide leg pants and you've got That's Jenna Dewan sitting in the front seat of the car with Janet, the
Oh yeah,
famous
Janet
Jenna
Dewan. She
Dewan
was
now.
married to what's his name?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
And I mean, she was just a sweet little girl back then, and I just love her. And she's also in All for You. So doesn't really matter. Was that kind of like? I'm trying to think of the video. Doesn't really matter. What you know, because you're in love with the inner being. That's
Hmm.
the one where she's on the big floor that
Yeah,
moves
she's
and
on the big
slides.
floor. Actually, we have a photo up right now with her on laughing on the floor. Right.
Yeah,
So we have
that
that up.
floor is that floor actually moved, and the girls were actually strapped with what are those things called? Bungee cords to the back of the stage, and there were five guys holding the bungee cords. So when the floor slid down forward, the girls were actually hanging on the floor with their feet and dancing. I mean, and there were guys pulling them back with the rope so that they didn't fall off the floor. That was an amazing production, and the floor was the size of a huge soundstage. You know,
Yeah, I remember because she was like moving back and forth, and she had like people pulling her back. It was
she's
crazy.
they're all tied to ropes, and they cut the ropes out when you saw the final video. But that was a hard video to make. It took a lot of days in L.A. Tim did all the makeup by Tim. He's on Instagram, TYM. He did all the makeup of all the dancers, and then Kevin did I don't know, my Fran did Janet's making. Fran Cooper did Janet's makeup for that, and then Janet Satoon did the hair. That was an amazing. So those are the Hirajuku girls that Gwen Stefani ended up trying to copy years later,
Right.
but Janet did it first.
Ha,
You
how
know,
about that? So the next look I want
hey,
to the next look I want to talk about is because I know we were talking when this happened with Teyana Taylor, uh,
hmm
the Pervert 2. That was the one of the most iconic looks of MTV. Um,
that's when I just met Janet. I had just met her, and I had a new tailor. And Janet and Renee had this idea that if people were going to call Michael a pervert, then she was a pervert too,
that's
because her brother
crazy.
was not a pervert, and how dare they say this about him? So she was giving him that award that night, and I created that top, and Christian Dior for Galliano made the pants for me and the shoes. We had it all pulled off, and I mean that is an iconic moment. So the problem was when Teyana Taylor did it,
Right.
I someone said, "Did you see this?" And I made a comment about how mine was better. Couldn't they have just called me? And I'm telling you, Tiana's publicist,
Hmm.
her manager, her stylist, they came at me on Instagram. I mean,
Really?
oh, you have no idea. I was getting threatened on Instagram. I was getting threats from them. But the best part about it was, I'm going to say this live. I was
Wow.
wrong.
Really?
Janet said, Wayne, I liked it. I liked that she did it, and I liked Tiana Taylor. So the funny thing is that no one knows. And if you go on my Instagram, it's Wayne, WSLUKASTYLE _.
Yes.
I went live on my Instagram and I apologized to Tiana Taylor last month because
Wow.
I was wrong. she had every right to do that to honor Janet. And I was at Janet's birthday in Las Vegas, and I can't
Yes.
really say who was there, but it was a very private. But guess who walked in?
Teyana Taylor. I know who was there.
Uh,
I'll say who was there. Sierra, Little Kim,
uh-huh,
Johnny
uh-huh.
Gill.
Well,
It
yep.
was a
Well,
lot of people. It was a
yeah.
lot of mess.
hmm The
Generations. It
best,
was
the
crazy.
best, the best party ever. I walked over to Tana Taylor and I said, "I need to talk to you." She was dancing with Gil, and she looked at me and she knew my face. She
Hmm.
said, "You were mean to me."
Oh
Oh
God.
shit! I thought I'm dead.
Oh
I
Lord.
said, "Tiana, you know what? You're right. I was, and I want to apologize. I'm sorry." I said, "If there's anything you want from the Janet archives, if you want sketches, if you want clothes, you call me. I get it approved from Janet. I will help you. I respect you, and I made a huge mistake." So I hope that she really heard me because nobody usually apologizes for that behavior.
Right.
But I've seen people copy Janet's outfit so many times that you get tired of
You
it.
get
But you know
tired of
what?
right.
Janet loves her. So I mean, and to copy them so exact, I'm just like, whoa,
Right.
like that's exactly the outfit. But
I mean,
call
I get where
me.
you're coming from. You were just like, all right, I'm tired of it. We got to shut this
Yeah.
down. Which you were trying to
And
be protective. You
I,
should have just explained like,
and the thing is, what they should know is I was wrong, and Tiana and her stylist can call me, and I will give them the original. I can help them.
right.
You want to wear it here? This is the original stuff. Janet has Janet has giant archives. Everything can be found. So just call me. I even have the original sketches. So I'm here as long as Janet approves it, and Janet says she loves Tiana. She can have anything she wants. And I had to apologize. I had to eat crow, and I did it publicly, and I tagged her. I don't know if she ever saw it, but I
Right.
wanted her to know that I was sorry.
She'll
Because
be all right.
so,
She'll be all right.
say what?
She'll be all right.
I know, but this it was also about me being all right
Right.
because I needed to watch myself, check
Right.
myself, and
Right.
a lot of us don't check ourselves. And did I have to do that? No. Was it good that I did it? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Especially, just to make the universe better and make everybody feel
Yeah.
better about everything. Just saying like I was just being protective. That's all I was doing.
Yeah. Well, I put Janet in that white suit with the big afro and the hair pulled back and the diamond choker, and then I saw Ciara wore something like that on The View. So I
Yeah.
put up the pictures side by side,
Right.
and all these fans came out from Ciara attacking me, and I said, "I'm not saying it's
Anything.
bad. I'm just saying that it's the same thing."
Right.
Hello,
Like just calm down
I don't know.
everybody.
Yeah, the fans are vapid. When they get mad, and I'm always thinking to myself, what are you fighting about?
Right.
I can talk to Ciara right now, and I can call Janet, and they're both fine. So why are you guys fighting?
Right. The next look I want to talk
So
about is the World Music Awards look. The
which
white
one?
it was the tank. Did you do the white
The tank
cutoff
top, the white skirt, and the
and
white shirt,
yeah, it
the
was like
sleeves
the
pushed
white
up.
it was like a it looks like it was like a cutoff like a wife beater or something. I don't want to call it
Yeah,
wife beater,
cut off
tank
wife
top.
beater. It was the skirt and the jacket were by Donna Karen,
Mhm.
DKNY. She made them out of FedEx fabric. The FedEx envelopes.
Yes.
They were
Really?
made out of paper. That dress is actually paper.
That's
And
paper?
yep, and nobody had worn it. And then the wrap around the top of her head was paper too, and that got so much attention. And then when she wore that same look again with the big ball gown and the T-shirt,
It was a black version,
everybody,
right?
yeah, they were comparing the two looks again. And I was just like, you know what, guys, what are you gonna do? I'm glad that people are going back and doing it again. I mean, that means that it was good. It means that it was iconic.
Right.
But you wonder why people don't reach further and call me and say, "Hey, were you Janet Stylist? Can you help us?"
Right.
Because the people that want to talk about the Super Bowl, trust me, they find me. Whether it's
Oh
through
yeah.
LinkedIn
Because
or
you did
through
work on the Super
anywhere.
Bowl, correct?
Yeah, hello.
Wow. I don't think I do this. The reason why I do my podcast is for people that I've known
hmm
or that are new to the industry. Like it could be like rappers who I think who are starting to get a groove in their music. People who have done stuff that can teach people. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And just to have this mess, just I want it to be this like what is it that pot that what is that word? I can't think of it. But I wanted this to be the place, and I just think you're a person that needs to be known and need to be seen out there because you have done so many things. Like, what was it like working with Tina Turner?
Tina Turner was life changing. She had gone to the VH1 Music Awards right after I did Janet, and she came in a top by Kenzo, and the top had long hairy arms, and Kevin Aucoin told her she looked like a gorilla in the audience.
Oh my God.
So he said to Roger Davies, Janet's manager, also Tina's, Wayne needs to meet Tina. And wouldn't you know, I just happened to get a job. I was doing graphic design at a company, and I got a job doing the Hanes campaign, which happened to be Tina. So
Wow.
Kevin put in a great word for me. I got the job. And that day I met Tina, I worked with Tina for every single tour up until the last one before she
Wow.
stopped working. Yeah. I worked on her costumes. I just wrote the whole section in the book about calling Gianni Versace before he passed away and personally speaking to him to have him design that last tour outfit for Tina. And he didn't know what she wanted to wear, so I designed it in a sketch with measurements and everything, and I had to fax it from Copenhagen to Italy, and they made the dress for me in 5 days. That's that iconic dress that's all silver crystals with the black lace by
Right.
Versace that she wore that last tour. So, you know, I've been lucky enough to really have she's an amazing human being, and she is beyond your wildest dreams about how she cares about you and how she loves you. And I traveled to Africa with her, and they would fly me
Wow.
on the Concorde everywhere. I mean, she just is a class act. She
Can
has
you
a beautiful
imagine
house in the south of
just
France. She
Miss
has a
Tina?
beautiful house in Switzerland, you know.
It's like, Wayne, I want you to come over. I want you to come to
Can you
Switzerland.
hear me?
Yes, I'm being. That's my
Oh, you're
That's
being Tina?
I'm being Tina.
Well, the best part about her was that she really cared and she had really great taste. And here's a perfect example for the kids that are listening. I thought I knew everything. I'm going to show Tina Turner how to wear this, and I'm going to show Tina Turner what. I kept presenting her these outfits, and she's like, no, no, no. And then I did the job, and I did, you know, our work. That one dress, the Versace dress, has traveled the world as the best costumes in rock history in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. That, you know, the big gala that people go to. I did a
Yes.
rock history gala. I had 3 costumes. I had Janet's Busta Rhymes costume, and I had 2 Tina costumes that traveled the world in that exhibit. And the best thing about it was that when we stopped working together, I wrote her a letter and I apologized. I said, you know what, Tina? I said, I was a young kid and I thought that I knew everything. And I said, I went back looking at your history. You have worn every single freaking thing that I could ever show you. I mean,
Wow.
she's been around for so long, from plastic dresses to beaded dresses to Azadine Alaya to, you know, jeans and leather. She's done everything, even from the days with Ike. You know, and
That's
who did I
crazy.
think I was? I was going to show her something new, but you know what I did,
She was
and it
like,
was
"You
good.
can't tell me something new, Wayne. I've seen it all."
Yeah, yeah, that's her. And she would let you try. She would let you show her. And if the things worked, it worked. And if it didn't
Wow.
work, she goes, nope, 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 don't like that, nope, nope, nope. And you're like, okay,
Because
you
especially
move
you get
on.
to a certain age, you're like, "All right,
Yeah,
I know what I
I
want. I
mean,
know what's gonna
you
look
know
good."
that ball gown she wears, that black ball gown. You've seen her wear it a couple times. She wore it to Oprah's thing. She also wore it in Africa dancing on the beach. That ball gown was actually made for Susan Sarandon for the Academy Awards
Wow.
by Valentino. And right before Susan was going to wear it, I walked into the place. I said, I want it for Tina. They said, no, it's for Susan. I said, not anymore. And I took that dress off the rack,
Scoop.
put it in a bag, and took it to Africa. And Tina danced in it on the beach. Hello.
Hello.
And then she wore it to Oprah's thing, and then she wore it again to something else. I mean, she's
That's
worn
good
that
that she
three,
wear
four
it.
times now.
That's
Say
crazy.
again?
That's just good
Yeah,
that she
she's a
like
good woman.
rewore it. Like, but you would never know. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you have that eye.
No,
Like,
nope.
I want to go back a little bit and talk about. I just realized again that you worked on Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson video. What's it gonna be? And I just remember.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember it
right.
because you was sitting. She was sitting on your back when she was tired. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. She was
Did
tired, and they wouldn't give us a chair, and she needed
what?
to get her hair fixed. And I thought, I didn't think it was a big deal, but everybody said, "Oh my God, she's sitting on your back." It's like, dudes, she needs a break. I got on my knees. What's the big deal? 10 minutes, and she took a rest. God
So
bless.
did you also do Busta Rhymes or did somebody else do Busta Rhymes?
June Ambrose did Buster Rhymes.
Oh,
June
okay.
Ambrose was Buster Rhymes' stylist at that point. But the funny thing is, it's so funny because my outfit was a completely built. It was supposed to be the year 2000 Catwoman look, and
Right.
I made her hair long so that it would be like a whip without her having to carry a whip. We made her hair the whip. So I did this complete outfit with 750 sexual cock rings sewn to it, like the most.
Those actual like cock
You,
rings.
those are cock rings. I went to a sex store. We found cock rings, and the whole train is cock rings. And I did this major outfit, and then you see June. Then in comes Buster Rhymes, and he's in like a silver bodysuit and a silver pair of pants. And June cut up like old milk cartons and spray painted them silver.
What?
And then she sewed them to the outfit. And she's so lucky that they had, computer, computer aided design because
Right.
Buster Rhymes' whole outfit is on the computer. Janet's is real.
Wow.
So, and then June Ambrose went on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook acting like she likes to say how she styled the whole video. And then I
What?
called her out once, and then all of her fans came and attacked me. But I'm like, it's the truth. She didn't dress Janet. Stop saying it.
Listen, all you gotta do is I bring receipts. You be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll just have like a picture when you and Janet, like, oh look at me designing this for Janet.
Yeah, here's me,
And
here's
tag
me
all of them.
sewing her into it, June. And the thing is, how desperate is June? To have to do that. What did she start out at? I mean, what was she? Puffy's girlfriend, and then she became Puffy's stylist, had a kid, and now she's a stylist. Where is she now?
Listen,
no
we getting
shade,
all
no
the
tea, no
tea.
shade,
We're
but
getting
just
all the
honest.
tea of Petty Nation. This is what Petty Nation is about. Okay, shouts out to you, Ambrose. Shouts out to you.
Yeah, that's just. But the truth is, I like her. I don't like that, but that happened, and that shit'll be in my book. My book comes out in a year. It will be
Okay,
clear.
so your book is coming. You have a book explaining all this. Tina Turner, June Ambrose, Jada Jackson. All this is happening.
I have a memoir of my career for 37 years, and then
Wow.
how I got to being a stylist. So I'm going to talk about my jobs. I'm going to talk about what I can talk about, and I'm going to talk about the shade. People that were shady. If you were shady, you don't have to worry. You're not going to be in the book. But if you were shady, call the lawyers now.
Okay, so this is what I live for right now because this is Petty
Because
Nation.
Daddy's speaking.
This is okay. So I want to know. You don't. Okay, so maybe you don't have to say who the person is. Maybe give hints, unless you're feeling Petty Nation right now, because this is what we talk about. Talk about the truth. Who was the worst client you ever worked for?
You may not know who she is, but I mean, it's Mary Lou Henner. Do you guys know her?
Mary Lou.
She's
Henner,
on
no.
she's on Netflix right now on a show, but she was in that TV. Remember that you may not know this either. There was a TV show called Taxi.
Okay, I know. I heard of the show. Yeah, that was my grandmother's show. Yes.
Yeah, she was the female in Taxi. She was the female cab driver.
Okay.
She was the worst client I've ever had. I say it all the time. She was so rotten. To this day, I can't stand her.
Wow.
And that's fine. I let it go, and I no tea, no shade again. But the truth of the matter is, I bought the most gorgeous clothes, 15 racks of clothes from all over LA, and she comes in with some ugly St. John knits from the trunk of her car. Hey.
Oh my God.
You put that shit back in the trunk of the car, honey, because I've got the clothes. Oh, no, let me just bring them in just in case. I go, there is no just in case. Put the St. John knits back in the car. You know what I'm saying?
How about that? Wow. She just had like rotten attitude.
I'm thinking if there's any ones that have been mean recently that are famous right now. No, because you want to know the truth, and you guys will learn this as you move up in the business.
Yeah.
I won't work with mean people.
Right.
So if what I do is I make people pay me in advance, so there's no shade.
Right.
So I show up and I'm paid.
Right.
So if you give me shade, I'm paid. If there's shade, I'll go work with the maid.
How
out the door.
about that?
Yeah, I'm not playing.
Yo, that's a good tip. Listen, how you say that again? If there's shade, I'll work with the maid. Make sure you get that check
shade,
in advance.
I'm already paid. I'm leaving with the maid. I'm going to work with the maid.
That's gonna be my 2020.
It's the truth.
Tagline.
If you get paid in advance and then a celebrity treats you like shit, you leave.
You don't have to deal with that. That's what I tell
you. Do what you were paid for, and you leave. You say, "I did my job. Can I please leave now? Goodbye."
I'm gonna take that with just working with anybody. You do not
any
have
job,
to take it. You do not have to
you,
take it.
Don't do this. Don't do this half up front shit, because half up front means they're not going to pay you the second half.
Right.
Especially if they're new celebrities, you don't want to play that game. Everybody wants everything, but nobody wants to pay.
How about that? Don't I know it?
Hello.
Does it the Go Network know it?
Yeah, hello.
So I'm just so I can't wait for this book, and I'm just so happy.
It's gonna be good. It's good because it's about, I've had huge success, but I've also had huge failure. I've been bankrupt a couple times. I've had to find my way because I'm freelance, and the money comes and then the money goes, and then there's no work, and then you may fight with a client, and then all of a sudden the client stops hiring you and you lose your money, and then you have to learn how to have better behavior. So if I could learn in every failure, that's great. And if I can share my learning from every failure, maybe it'll help somebody else,
Yes.
And that's why I say keep your mouth shut. Go in, get your money.
I have to learn that.
Do the job, be talented, and walk away.
Part of mine is like not keeping my mouth shut. That's why I'm in radio
Well,
too. Part of it,
well, but
I mean,
you'll
I'm not
learn
too
because
bad. I'm not like disrespectful, but I might say a couple of things to people that they're like side eyeing me, like what? Like I'm
well, you
just
just
like,
have to make sure
yep,
your work can back up your mouth. If your work can back up your mouth, that's fine. But if you're not as good as you think and you say something, people don't respect it. You know what I mean? But
right.
it's better to be kind to everybody and kind of
Anyway,
spread the
in
love
general,
because Janet's kind to everybody, Tina's kind to everybody, and they're at the level where they don't have to be. You
right.
know?
So
So yeah,
who was the best client you ever worked for? I probably gonna say
that's
Janet, but
well, I'll tell you the best client my age
yes.
would be Janet. The best client older than me would be Tina,
Mhm.
Meryl Streep, who's
Mhm.
amazing to be
Meryl
around.
Streep. There's so many
Um,
people.
yeah, and Cindy Crawford was a
Oh
really
my
fun,
God,
friendly
Sydney.
client. You know, like I did all the supermodels for years, and but I'll tell you, Janet is like hanging out with your best friend at work, but you
Mhm.
don't want to fail them.
Yes.
Tina's like hanging out with your best auntie at work, and she'll give you a smack
About
to
to
be
say,
funny. If you,
she'll smack you. What are you
yeah,
doing? Get up off
yeah,
the floor.
yeah. If you say the wrong thing, she'll give you a little whack. And then, like Meryl Streep just
She
is
looks
just
at you
so
with that evil
real.
eye.
They're just real. They don't have to prove anything. So they just show up and they say, "Okay, Wayne, make me pretty," and then you do. Like,
That's
and the most
so
important thing
dope.
is when you get most of these women undressed, they may not like something about their body, and that makes them very vulnerable. So in that moment, you have to really respect. Not about just putting the clothes on. It's like, Wayne, I don't like my hips. Can you fix them this month? Wayne, my butt is too big. It needs to be smaller. Like, and you have to learn the tricks. And you go, and then they go, "Oh my God, you saved my life."
Right. Uh,
And I would say that those are the most fun. And like
wow.
Tina was, it's a whirlwind of magic being around her, just like a whirlwind. Like it's just so much. And then Janet is fun, but she's also very down to earth.
Right.
It's all down to earth, and she's so busy in her head, she's clocking all your behaviors, so she's watching everything you
She's like,
do.
yeah, she's like
So
watching.
if I forget to pick up some pins or I forget a pair of shoes, Wayne, you didn't get those shoes. She'll see. She'll remind me.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's
So
amazing. Like I just keep
yeah,
there's so many people that you work with. I'm just like so amazed by. I mean, everybody
but
get
well,
into Wayne Scott Lucas, yo. Where
I
can
love
people
you.
can find you?
People can find me on Facebook. It's Wayne Scott, WayneScot, as one word, and then Lukas, Lukas. So it's Wayne Scott as one word, and then Lukas. I think I have over the limit of friends, so I can't friend back, but you can follow,
Right.
and they can write me there. If anybody wants to write me about it, they can write me there. And then Instagram is WSLUKASTYLE_. And if you go to hashtag Wayne Scott Lukas, Scott with one T, you can see all the pictures of Janet and Tina and a lot of behind the scenes stuff. My partner committed suicide in 2010. So if there's
Yeah, I'm
anybody out there
sorry.
that's suffering, you can always reach out to me in a text or a message on Facebook. And if I can stop for 5 minutes, I'll remind you how valuable you are.
So this
And
is
I support American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
oh
If you go
wow.
to AFSP.org, it'll help you get out of your own way.
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I mean, just like I said, your vibe and just I know you go
Yeah.
through a lot, and like when I text you because I want to do this podcast a long time ago, but I was dealing with a
Yeah.
few deaths
Hmm.
at the time. Now it's a total of 7 people since that time, and
I love
I'm still
seven.
go.
It's a magic
Yeah,
number.
yeah,
You're gonna get a break
that's
for a while.
it was a lot. Even like it was
Yeah.
just like my landlord. It's just like random people. Like it was just like a
Yeah.
lot. Like I was just like, what is going on? So
If it's not people you love too much, it's a house cleaning. So you thank God and you move on. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yes, but I just want to thank you, Wayne, for finally did it. We made it
Oh
happen.
yeah.
I hope it was fun for you. I like just conversating with you, and I
I'm
want.
always here for you. And anybody that wants to reach out, you can reach out to me. And for you, just remember, keep doing what you're doing, and we can always do this again. Whatever you need.
Absolutely. Wayne, thank you
All
so
right.
much. Also, I'm gonna need that pervert 2 shirt. I'm I'm gonna need a male version of that shirt. Um
I'm gonna make you one with your little belly sticking out.
oh yeah. My little body.
I don't know what the body looks like, but I'm gonna make you the same outfit.
Oh,
Give you
but
nice
you're gonna make
high
it the same
heels,
thing.
give you a wide leg pant, give you that little haircut by Janet Toon. You'll be ruling.
I don't know about that. I don't think the dudes in the hood would like that. But you know what? I'm like, forget it. This is from the best stylist in the world who did this. I'm gonna thug it out. I'm
You
gonna
just
throw
need
some
to get
Tims
it
on
and
it.
just walk around in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna put some Tims on it to make it gangster.
Yeah, who cares what those dudes want? Half of those dudes want other dudes.
How
Hello?
about that? Welcome
Party
to
down low.
Yo. On
So
that
tell
note,
Teyana, if you know Teyana Taylor, you guys tell her I love her. Tell her that I
oh
apologize.
no,
And I'm
yes,
here for her.
I definitely will. If I
Spread
ever,
that.
I would definitely
And
spread it.
anybody wants to write me on Facebook or Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram. You can write me on Facebook. The book should be out in a year. And we're just in the middle of it all. So everybody just love yourselves. I mean, hello.
Hello. Thank you, Wayne, so much. Thank you.
All
And
right.
we'll contact. We'll
Be
keep
happy.
everybody.
And
You
you're all,
too.
follow every freaking dream you guys want. The dreams are not a big deal. You can be anything you want in this world. Anything.
Thank you, Wayne.
Except if you're black, you can't be white. Sorry.
Bye. Bye, Wayne.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take
Thanks.
care.
That was Wayne Scot Lukas, guys. Thank you so much.